Hey folks, welcome back. So yeah, we are one day out from the most recent patch, and I have to give it up to Supercell. Stability issues and bug issues aside, which I know are being dealt with. This has just been an amazing patch between the new troops and the new features. Nothing but good things to say about the stuff that they've added to the game. I mean, it's going to shift. This is what happens any time new strategies or new troops and capabilities are added to the game. Is that new strategies will arise, new metas will shape around the capabilities of those new troops. Now, as far as we were concerned, yes, a few of us did gem up our troops for that, but we didn't use any of them in this most recent war. It's always a dangerous thing to go in with level 1 troops when, especially level 1 troops that you're not exactly sure what their capabilities even are. But anyway, I wanted to share a special war recap with you. We had just recently matched up with Quantum 3, another top tier clan, and what was so interesting about this was at this point 94 days ago we had matched up with them, and look at the score. They scored a perfect war on us, 90 to 75. They had a 4 Town Hall 11 to our 0 Town Hall 11 advantage at the time, and I wasn't in this war, but from what the guys tell me, they were able to score a perfect war on us with only about half of their attacks used. So crazy stuff. And then fast forward to today, and we literally almost flipped the script on them, scoring a perfect war on them, and they only pulled in about 76 stars to our 75 stars from that war. Town Hall matchup wise, we were it was more or less. We had a 2.5 advantage over them, but we had one Town Hall 11, they had one Town Hall 11. We had one Town Hall 10.5, they had one Town Hall 10.5, and then the rest were Town Hall 10s, Town Hall 9.5s, a lot of high offense, low defense Town Hall 9s. But they just were not able to convert on a lot of our bases, and we were able to clear all of their Town Hall 9s with about, I would say about 90% of their Town Hall 9s with about 20-25 attacks left. And that left us in a very comfortable position going into the end of the war. We had already scored something on the order of about 70 stars by the time the patch came around. So that gave us a lot of time to just goof around with the new challenge features. This is the morning right now, but last night was just let's see here. Last night was just nothing but challenge for 6 hours straight. People just were beating each other senseless till 3 in the morning. So yeah, stat wise, yep, pulled in the 33 stars. Now I guess something happened here with since this arrived in the middle of the patch because there were no stats for 2-star and 1-star attacks. Well, I mean, obviously we had them. War events, we pulled in, or at least the offensive MVP goes to 9 players this war. 9 players walked away with 6-packs. I mean, granted, some of those were dips, but they did walk away with 6-packs. We've got Lackey, Walker, McGoniu, Astro, one of our new additions, Mercutio, Mael, Wangstar 2.0, actually, so we had 10, excuse me, I counted wrong. He's chilling out in our alt clan right now, just relaxing and beating up on himself. He's got his alt accounts and just running raid after raid, friendly challenges against himself. And then Glitzy Gang in our number 30 position, he pulled in a nice 6-star war. And that, it's always tricky to be in the number 30 position because you usually end up having to hit bases much tougher than you. And he was able to walk away with 6 stars there. So great job there. Now on defenses, let's see, we had Anix or Ani X with 4 defends, Dirty Pee Pants also with 4 defends. Not defend, but 4 visits on his base. That's always a huge stat. We like to see lots of revisits on certain types of bases, because we know which sorts of designs work within certain brackets, and we make sure to deploy those bases, just to incur again a lot of those revisits, because those always burn down attacks if they can't be dealt with right away. And as you can see here, they had a lot of trouble in our bottom end, not so much in the top end, but that's that's to be expected. We try to reinforce the bottom end of the map as much as possible with special types of bases. So yeah, that worked out pretty well there. Now, as far as the attacks, again, there's there are a lot of reports of this going on in the forums right now. No actually did 3-star this base. We asked him, what actually happened in the attack, and he did 3-star the base with way more troops than the replay shows. But this replay shows a 2-star attack. So the best that we can divine at this point is that there's some disconnect between the recorded replays and then what actually happened during the live attack, because there are examples on the forums of people what look like disconnected attacks where they're going through and not using their spells, not using the remainder of their troops, still scoring like 100%, and then either glitching out or timing out. And there were a couple of instances where Teslas didn't deploy, and then the troops just hung, and then nothing happened, and then they were not able to complete the raid. So, a couple of glitchy issues there with the game. Again, it's to be expected. I know it's frustrating for folks, especially when you put so much time into planning these attacks, and only to have the game defeat you in a completely different way that you couldn't possibly have been able to plan for. But then, as you can see here, with about 16 seconds left, the disconnected version, he's deployed all of his troops, and he's going to hit about 86%, and the game's just going to time out at this point. And this was with only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, or 2 minutes and 15 seconds into the match. It just crashes at this point. So don't know what's going on. Crazy stuff. He did walk away with 3 stars, so I will say that he came in at the last minute to score that perfect war for us. So great job there. So the next attack comes in from Lackey. He was in our number 1 position and taking on their number 3, and this was a 10.5. So a fully upgraded, or at least offensively fully upgraded Town Hall 11 with no evil. So on his way, so he's rocking, I believe, still Town Hall 9 defenses with level 3 Infernos. Now the opener for this is going to be a west to south AQ walk, meeting up with the quarantine to jump through, to do a jumping ginger ninja run through the core of the base and then into the town hall up around the northeast. So he opted for, he's got some interesting spell loadouts for this. For fresh hits, this was a fresh hit, but for fresh hits we do bring poisons just in case they decide to do some gimmicky type CC where they pour nothing but minions into the CC. But for Town Hall 11 attackers that are running with wardens, you have to remember that the tome ability that you have, you're going to be using that primarily to fend off either eagle artillery attacks or golem explosions or minion attacks when those do come in. So you have to be very judicious about how you use the tome at the opening part of the raid. You want to make sure that you're protecting your Valks. That 5 seconds, that's still good for 400 points of health, saving them from 400 points of health if you can time it just right. And the 3 points where you would do something like that are at the at the moment the Infernos lock onto the Valks, if you see a double giant bomb, or if a golem explodes, if the golem attracts all of your Valks and then suddenly explodes. A pack of Valks will pretty much one-shot a golem, so you want to make sure that you pop that ability just to shield those Valks from that, because even level 5 or even max level Valks, a max golem in the CC will do 550 points of damage on death, and that's more than half of the damage of the Valks. But when you pair that up with things like giant bombs, like splash defenses, like Infernos, your Valks can disappear in a flash, just like I showed you in one of my fails from a war ago. So there's something to consider when you're doing these types of raids is to make sure that you are watching if your Valks are clustering, and if they do cluster, to make sure that they're protected within that tome, or if you're a Town Hall 10, to make sure that something else is triggering that stuff before your Valks get onto the map. So great job there, Lackey. So this next hit, this was actually my hit on their number 2. This was a follow-up. Hit. The first hit was a 1-star attack on the space, but we did find out that there was a golem and a loon in the CC. So the way that this particular base is laid out, you can see just from the spacing of the pockets that you can do 4 quake. I chose to do an octaquake attack on this Town Hall 10. So for the cost of 8 quakes, you wouldn't have to bring poisons because there was a golem in the CC, and I have my tome ability to be able to protect the Valks from the explosion. But for those 8 quakes, I'm able to open up the entire interior core of the space. Now I chose the left side of the space specifically to put myself on a beeline into the Infernos as well as those Expos. Those are those high value defenses that always if you don't deal with them right away, can really burn down your troops. An AQ walk, not really an AQ walk so much as it was just setting up one side of the inner layer of the funnel. I did want to get her towards that air defense, but I just my timing was off with the deployments of the wall breakers. And at this point, I'd only brought 6 wall breakers. Now I only have 2. And pro tip here: remember, Valks, they will target damaged walls the same way that a wall breaker will do that. So I was able to damage those 2 walls up in the northwest, and then drop a couple of test Valks to make sure that I didn't lose them and that they would pour into the core, which they did, thankfully. And then so they went down ahead of the the Grand Warden. But here comes the Golem, and get that tome popped just in time for them to coincide with hitting the Golem, engaging those Infernos. But then once those 2 rages go down, core just disappears in about 5 seconds, and that's all of their high value defenses. That's the 2 Infernos, the 2 Max Expos. There's 1 Max Expo left, but not a big deal. And then at this point, I can safely deploy what's left of my hog cleanup crew. Now, I have debated in the past between bringing 6 and 8. I find that 8 is way better than 6, simply because you run into traps, you run into problems, and sometimes the hogs end up having to tank for themselves. But I've had much more success with 8 hogs than I have with 6 on cleanup for these types of bases. But a very decisive win, able to go and clear out this base, and I believe it was under 2 or 2.5 minutes with this attack. I mean, granted, great max warden, max troops for this level for the 3-star. So yeah, funny story with the next replay we have. The next attack comes in from Mile, or as everyone's decided to call him, L'chaim. We can't figure out how to pronounce his name. We were sitting in Discord, Discord attack planning, our channel, and we had I think like 10 or 12 people in there. We were just trading ideas on how to attack the bases. We didn't realize this at the time, but 10 and 15 had the exact same base, and we were doing a plan on 15, and we were picking the breach points, we were picking the AQ walk points. We were debating the merits of whether or not we should hit the east or the west, and step for step, about maybe 5 minutes into that planning conversation, we see that L'chaim is going in to attack the base, and he did the exact same strategy, the exact same execution plan that we had just built for 15, but he did it by himself with a couple of tweaks, and we'll go through and take a look at those now. But the first attack on this base, there was actually an AQ walk along the eastern perimeter of the southeast wall, and it unfortunately failed. But L'chaim's plan here for this was to AQ walk the southwest portion of the base. So he was going to walk, I believe, west to south with a northwest breach into the AQ. Let's see. I believe he was going. Yeah, that's right. We decided on a southwest AQ walk because there's a Tesla farm right there, and the AQ was able to take out that entire Tesla farm, plus take out the BK, and then go in for extra innings. But yeah, just for the investment of those 5 troops, put down the Tesla farm. We'll eventually take down the BK, took out the CC. But once that's all taken care of, the Valks can go into action. They come in from the northwest, steam north, pull down southeast, and then here come the back end hogs to clear out what's left of the base. But once the core bombs are out, the Tesla farm's down, the traps are all dealt with. This was just a very, very decisive win. And one of the interesting things about this, I think he has opted to drop golems completely for his attacks. So that allows him to take more Valks, more hogs, more pretty much everything. Because the Valks, 900 hit points, they can still tank a decent amount, and they get on top of defenses so fast that they can put the base down so quickly. So great job there, Mail. And interestingly enough, we ended up using the same attack on another base, to clean 15 just shortly after that. So great job to both of the attackers on both of those bases. So the next attack comes in from Captain K, and a very interesting base, 5-point ring defense with respect to the air defenses and the AQ, plus with a little island off to the left. Those little islands, they tend to present a few problems with pathing, but as far as these bases are concerned, you make a guess as to where the Tesla farm is going to be. Looking at the spaces, it was either going to be in the core or in the north. He chose the north, he chose right. He's able to open up the entire base with just 4 quakes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compartments, along with a very easy funnel in from the north to get to what we believed was the Tesla farm. And of course, he did guess right for this. And then he was able to take this base down in about 2 minutes. So very, very decisive win here by being able to take. I'm not sure if he actually brought a golem here. Or actually, I'm sorry, I do see. Yeah, so he did bring a golem along with very large contingent of Valks, and then just some back end hogs to take care of whatever defenses were left over. But yeah, the Valks that go down into there, as soon as the AQ takes one shot at the Valks, they pour into that core compartment, into that south compartment. She just absolutely disintegrates. She just disappears, and goes into cleanup mode here with his pocket wizards. And again, as you can see here, off in the left hand, off on the west, that little island produces a little bit of a problem, because if you spent all your troops by this point, if you don't have anything left, and he did have pocket hogs here in his CC, to take out what was left of the base. So he held on to those as long as possible, but very, very decisive win on that base. Good job, Kate. All right, so next replay, we're going to take a look at one hit from Mason Menkel. This is his hit on their number 22. Excuse me. So the 32nd scout on this base, again, 5-point air defensive ring. The 5-point air defensive ring means usually an offset AQ, 4 buried air defenses away, or buried far enough away in the base so that they can't be AQ walked. If they do have AQ walked, that they have to sacrifice some wall breakers to get at those. One of the problems with these compact bases is that they're highly susceptible to earthquake attacks, where you can open up the entire base into one gigantic compartment and rush it with tanks. And that's exactly what he did here, and he was able to put this base down in about 2 minutes. So just a very, very decisive raid. Those 4 earthquakes go down. He opens up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compartments. Easy funnel from the south. Nothing too crazy here. Those corner attacks are always so much easier to funnel troops into the core. And then once those Valks get in there, level 4 Valks, and one of the things that we have been seeing a lot is to use that heal if you encounter that golem in the core, because when those golems, when they explode, do 550 points of damage. So that's half the health of, that's more than half the health of the level 4 Valk. But once those go down, Suicide Dragons deploy on the top, top northwest, take out the AQ. Wasn't a very high level AQ, but again, between the level 4 Valks, taking out that core compartment, taking out the AQ, he was able to absolutely just wreck this base in 2 minutes, and this base was down. I mean, it's a lower base, but again, these guys were running low defense, but high hero, high wall bases, and he was able to just absolutely decisively put that base down. So great job there, Mason. All right, so the next attack comes in from Lieutenant Mitchell, and he's hitting a void base. He's going to be hitting this base with a Valk march around, a counterclockwise Valk march from the north, with a breach point from the north. The couple of back-end hogs just to take up remaining buildings. I mean, it's a low Town Hall 9. Again, these guys were all running low Town Hall 9, high offense bases. So max walls or legal walls, but then max that offenses. Very good bases, very good troops for the levels. Now in this particular case, again, there's always the task of finding out where the Tesla farm is. There was no Tesla farm on this base. All there was they were just kind of dotted throughout the exterior compartments. So he's going to do a Valk march around the counterclockwise portion of this base, and then he's going to support that Valk march with a delayed AQ walk drop from the east. And just by herself with she probably could have done this with just 3 healers because the defenses were so low, but opted to do 4, and she was able to take out probably a good 20% of the base, leaving the hogs free to go in and do what they needed to do, because the bombs, the 2 double giant bombs were in the southwest compartments, and unfortunately he did lose his hogs to that BK up there, so that was probably one deployment issue. You want to make sure that the hogs are supporting the kill team and not just left alone to die, so that they could have survived towards the end to finish up cleanup. And that's always one of those little tweaks that you would have to do to make sure that all of your troops are surviving to the end to participate on cleanup. So great job there with that hit, LT.